Hey, everybody, Jim Cummings here. And if Tigger were here, he'd say, thanks, everybody, for bouncing on in here and enjoying the show. But before we go, I want you to do me a small favor. Hit like, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying the show. Now, speaking of enjoying the show, enjoy the show.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Toon'd In with Jim Cummings. I'm producer Chris.
Hey, hey.
Joined as always by the legend himself, Mr. Jim Cummings. How are you doing today, sir?
It's another day in paradise, especially today.
Absolutely.
Because look, ladies and gentlemen, say hello to Daniel Logan.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Glad to be here with you, Jim.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here.
Abyssinia.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. We accidentally were interesting a minute ago before we started recording. So we're gonna just rewind. Yes, Logan, it's a minute ago now, so we can be interesting again.
We were talking about Sydney Sweeney's bathwater.
Yes. See, told you it was interesting.
Yes, it was.
Told you.
I was also saying something about maybe Jim selling his foot water if he got his feet done at a nail salon. But
yes. Yeah, there you go.
Hey, there's a market for everything. That's the crazy part about this world.
Well, actually, we were thinking about selling honey.
Honey would work.
Yeah, I'd buy your honey.
Yeah.
100%.
Me too.
Yep.
I would too. Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you too. Very good to
thanks
see you.
thanks for coming out and getting out of the house.
Oh.
It's cutting into your drinking, but I appreciate you doing it.
Hey, any chance to get out of the house? I got a little 7-year-old at home with more ADHD than me, and I find
you have a 7-year-old?
a 7-year-old little boy, yeah, and you know, people would always say to me, "Man, you've got a lot of energy," and I just
need it.
Well, especially at cons, but I was just explode off. And then once I had my own kid and he had more energy than me, I realized how draining it is to have someone with so much energy sucking out of your energy through their energy, you know. And he's the greatest little guy. I love him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's full of energy.
Yeah. And all of a sudden you sympathize with your parents. Oh God, I really was a terrible kid, wasn't I?
100%.
I was awful. Oh God.
They just didn't medicate you back then, or they didn't have these things called ADHD, where now you know what, you know, I was just always a show off, too loud, and, you know, couldn't sit still.
Yeah.
Well, they gave me phenobarbital. That's what it was.
What's that?
We got to get, somebody give this kid a phenobarb. And that, I think it was supposed to calm you down. Because believe it or not, I was a really hyper annoying kid. Hard to believe. Hard to believe. No, it's true though. Yeah, I was terrible. I mean, could you imagine? I thought I was Taz back then too, but I was 5 and 6, and I running around doing all these weird voices. I started doing all that stuff way before I was paid.
Yeah.
Back when I was just annoying. Now I'm annoying and paid. So it worked out, but boy, I could have gone a whole nother way.
So you'd be annoying long enough, you eventually get paid for it.
Yeah. Yes, but I found that I had to be professionally annoying. So,
I mean, but the voices that you can create are amazing. I mean, the different.
Well, thanks.
They're not all just the same. I feel like I just have this one annoying, high-pitched, squeaky voice, and I roll with it with everything I can. Where you have so many different layers and levels, it's incredible.
Well, stuff used to get me kicked out of class.
Oh, didn't we all?
That's yeah. Was that you too?
Yeah. So I had a science teacher. She was very good looking, and I used to flirt with her all the time, which I didn't know wasn't appropriate at the time. And I'd walk in and smile at her, and she'd be like, "Get out of my class." And that's all I did was literally walk in the door and give her a smile, one of those cheeky smiles. And then
what kind of smile was it?
Like, "You looking good today, miss?"
Yeah.
And,
okay. There was no lascivious slobbering or anything. Okay.
It might have been.
Okay.
Yeah, I just thought that was natural. Like I do that on a constant anyway.
Oh, okay.
And then get out. I had another teacher. He was my drama teacher, and he's like, "What can I teach this kid? Like, there's nothing else I can teach him. Like, what are you even doing here?" And I'm like, "Well, basically, I'm getting extra credit,
Yeah.
And
I figured this is an easy one.
This is an easy one. All the rest were hard. I failed English. How do you fail English?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I did it.
You failed too?
Maybe. Well, anything with numbers.
I was good with numbers.
Yeah, see, not me. Yeah, numbers were my downfall.
Science, and well, when I was allowed to be in the science class, I loved it. But then math.
When
I
you
was
were
good at.
allowed?
Well, when she didn't kick me out as soon as I walked through that door.
Okay, so why? Did you do something weird with the frogs?
No, I was always good with my hands. So every time I would touch things with my hands, I would remember exactly what I did. But I grew up in the day where you didn't have these iPads and stuff. So there was a teacher literally writing everything out. And then as soon as she'd finish,
I remember that.
there was no space. So she'd just erase it. So if you weren't able to keep up with her, you were gone.
Yeah.
And I was the kid who got halfway through and then she was erasing it. I'm like, well, there goes that part.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna, I wasn't gonna
That's
do
so
it anyway.
true. I forgot about that phenomenon. You're
Yes.
so right. You had to write
Yeah.
fast or else it was gone.
Quick.
I completely forgot about that.
And you're doing this.
Yeah.
No wonder we all have bad necks. You know what I mean? Like, these kids have it so easy.
Jim, what was the punishment back when in your school days? Like, no, I'm serious. Like,
Back in my day.
No, because I'm going to tell a story about what they did for it. And I think we're similar age. I'm 34.
I'm 38 in a couple of days.
Yeah. So I would have been like a freshman when you were a senior, somewhere around there.
There you go.
But I'm going to tell a story after, but I want to hear what they did. Like,
Well,
detention, what did that consist of? Like, what was
detention was sitting after school for 45 minutes, and I used it to do my homework. And I also used it to have, like, Marilyn Perry, Julie Bolchak, and Judy Tarantino do my homework. And because, it was...
He's smart.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well,
So that wasn't even that bad.
No, it wasn't that bad.
This is what, maybe it's a Christian school thing. This is what we had to do. If you got
Well,
a
I went to
detention,
Catholic school, so
Okay, true.
nuns, they'll get you.
We had to. There was two forms of punishment. There was one that was called dots, and it was a sheet of grid paper. Like grid paper has all the little boxes, and you had to take a pencil and you had to draw a dot in the middle of each one of the grid, and it would take like an hour. And the teacher would check, and if you touched any of the lines, then you had to do it again. If you got Saturday detention, which is like, I think if you got like three detentions in a week or something, or 3 in a month, I forget what it was. You would go in the morning, Saturday morning at like 7 o'clock, some ungodly hour. And you were with the weight coach, Mr. Jacobson.
Ooh.
And he would take you out to the bleachers in the stadium, and you had to walk up and down the stairs for an hour in the morning on Saturday. And it was so boring, and you couldn't talk to anybody. And like you'd kind of look at your friend, and give him like a look while you're walking past each other on the stairs, and just for an hour. And Mr. Jacobson would go and he would run them, and he'd use it as his training and be like, oh yeah, like I'm running them. You guys are in high school. Like you can't walk them for an hour. And then if it was rainy, so the bleachers were slippery, so that was too dangerous. Couldn't do that. He would go to the weight room and he would make you grab a weight, like a 45-pound like disc weight. And you'd go to the baseball field and he'd be like, you can carry it however you want, but that cannot touch the ground for this whole hour. And you would just have to walk around. And like, I remember I outsmarted him once, and I had this sweater.
You had a belt?
And there's a hole right on the weight, and I tied my sweater through it. And I was like, oh yeah, now it's just hanging off my like sweater, around my waist.
Yeah.
And he was like, I can't even argue that. I can't even argue. And I was like, I got him, but it still sucked.
Yeah.
So he was
because
learning.
all of a sudden your sleeves were like this long.
Yeah.
His mom's like, why is his arms getting so long?
Yeah, well-
I know the kid's growing like a weed, but I mean, this is a whole nother level.
Oh, that's painful.
So I had a different type of high school experience.
Yes.
So because I was filming Star Wars at 13, I missed out on so much school that when I went back to school, I was so far behind. And then
How long is that filming process?
we filmed 3 to 4 months on and off. So I would go to Australia from New Zealand for a week. I'd come back home for like a week or two. Then they'd send me back out for another week because they're filming different scenes in between.
Yeah.
So
and one of your folks had to go with you.
one of my mom, because I grew up without a father. So my mom was in my life, and then my grandmother was more like my mother, and she was an angel. So she would come out and come to sit with me,
Oh. That's nice.
which was some of my fondest memories.
I bet.
She was just this easygoing old English lady who just had the heart of an angel, and she just overly loved me, so I could get away with things that I couldn't get away with on set while my mom was there. And so then I would just be able to just be Daniel again, you know. And Nana, she, bless her soul, she had diabetes.
That sounds like trouble.
So she would fall asleep during, like, you know, filming and stuff. And then I knew at that point, oh, it's free range, you know, like I can be little crazy Daniel and there's no consequences. But so most people don't realize, but I moved to the United States by myself at 15 years old.
Wow.
50
Yes.
alone even.
Well, I was adopted by my manager, which was sweet enough. I asked him basically to save me and rescue me, and could he bring me to the United States and adopt me?
Oh my God.
Wow.
And he said to me, you know, I'd be proud for you to be my son and me to call you my child.
That's incredible.
As a kid who had no father growing up, that was the best thing that I could have ever.
That's great
heard
to
in my
hear,
life.
man. That's
Yes.
beautiful.
So he brought me across.
Thanks for telling us that.
Yeah, this is something I really haven't ever told anybody. But I love him, you know, but he was in his mid to late 30s, and I was like 15. So we were more like little brother, big brother, you know, and I had all this free range to just be a wild child.
Yeah, I was going to say that free range is code for something.
Yes, I kind of raised myself.
What city did you move to?
We moved to Orange County, Tustin, and I fell in love with it. I love Orange County.
Yeah.
Tustin, yeah. I love it down there. It's just
me
quiet.
too.
Traffic is perfect. I mean, as soon as I drove up into LA, you just hit the parking lot. I'm like, this is LA.
Yeah.
But so he took me to the local high school, and I thought this is going to be a great opportunity to meet people and make friends. And they pulled my credits from my school in New Zealand and realized this kid really never was in school. So I had no credits really.
Oh, boy.
And I was already like 15, almost 16. So what's that, like 2-3 years of high school already? But they were like,
something like that.
Yeah.
in order for you to go to school, you have to go across the road to a continuation school and build up your credits from there. It depends on how fast you are at learning. Most likely, you'll be able to graduate out of this high school, you know, you'll have like a, well, they said to me, because I kind of guessed already that I wasn't that smart, that I might have been able to graduate with having like a month or two left at the school throughout the whole high school experience. So I remember my pops, he's very educated and smart man. And I remember him looking at the, I think it's the guidance counselor or someone you talk to when you go to school. He's like, you want my son to the first people he meets in this neighborhood, in this area, is the miscreants? And he's like, come on, get up. We're homeschooling. And so from then, I just did the homeschooling process, which I respect it, but you have to have discipline. And so
I would think.
I just went on the road and I started doing Comic-Cons. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do Comic-Cons. I'll figure out life as it goes. And
How old are you at this point?
I was 15.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I just went out on the road and I started doing Comic-Cons and, you know, meeting people and learning experiences through meeting and going out there on stages and stuff and making money. And
That's cool.
so my high school experience really was just Comic-Cons and
Wow.
yeah.
And that was back in like the early days of them. That was more
Early
like
2000s.
Yeah, I mean, what I can think of, it was pretty much only like Star Trek, Star Wars, and like San Diego Comic Con back then. You know, where like the Dragon Con was probably around back then. Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, they weren't as big as they are today. I mean, it's incredible how big they've grown.
Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure.
But yeah, I try to tell my son, you know, hey, stay in school, get an education, but it's very hard, you know. And once he gets to the age when he realizes his dad wasn't educated. He's
Well,
like,
you don't have to tell him.
I know, but I try to be as honest as I can with him.
Yeah, well, you can't be that honest.
That's the hard part. That's the hard part of separating dad and you know, want to be his friend, you know. And,
Yeah. No, that's funny.
Well,
yeah,
you must
true.
have had the performance bug from a very young age then.
Well, no, it's weird because I grew up playing rugby, and I was a really good rugby player.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like amazing. I was on my way to becoming a rugby player, playing for my national team
wow.
New Zealand. Yeah, at a young age.
Look at that.
My brothers beat me my whole life, you know, and they were very hard with me when it came to sports. It's kind of one of those countries that at the time, the only success you really had was hoping to make it into one of the rugby teams in New Zealand.
Interesting.
Oh, really?
for
That was like
success. Yes, the highlight of most people's, like, you know, dreams. And
Either education or sports.
yeah, but then education, there was only, when I grew up, there was only like 4 million people in New Zealand. So there wasn't that many jobs.
Wow.
Most
That's
people don't
something you
realize
never
that.
think of, yeah.
Yeah, the population was so low that they started opening up what they called opening the gates to the Pacific and allowing a lot of the Pacific Islanders to move to New Zealand.
Maori?
The Maori people are native New Zealanders, but then we had Samoan, Tongans, Fijians. So from the smaller Pacific, because we needed to boost our population so that we could exist as a country. So then, an audition came at my rugby club. My coach, he really loved me. He was an ex-All Black. He put me and his son's name down. I went along for the audition. It was a milk commercial.
Oh, yeah?
And I'll never forget it because I was meant to be playing a guy called Michael Jones, but he's obviously a lot more darker than me and he looks a lot more Samoan. And I must have just won the casting directors over, and they were like, hey, you know what? We really like you, but you're a little too white to play the character. And I was like,
I get that a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine, right?
Yeah.
With all the voices, they're like, yeah, Jim, don't think this is going to
You're like
work.
a little white.
Yeah. So they gave me a role anyway. And then a lady fell in love with me, and she started getting me a lot more ads, like an airline ad, a bread ad, and it just snowballed from there. And she
and these are on camera.
all on camera. And then, and my mom had 6 kids she was raising on welfare. So, I mean, she was like, well, he gets paid for all of this? Yeah, great. Yeah, get him anything you can.
Yeah,
exactly.
Get busy.
Get busy. Yeah, you're providing. So then she got me an agent. And then my agent, she fell in love with me again and sent me out for every single audition she could. And then Star Wars came by and she put only 2 names were allowed to go in from each agent or agency. And she put my name in. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, she told me I was not going to get this role.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because I was landing everything. She was like, no, you're not going to get this one. I was like, oh, okay. And I ended up finding out I auditioned out of I want to say it was between 2,000 and 3,000 children worldwide.
Dang. For Attack of the Clones.
For Attack of the Clones, Boba Fett.
Wow. That big of a net, huh?
Well, they went all over the world, looking for their one kid, Boba Fett. And who knew that I was hiding in a hobbit hole down in New Zealand?
Wow, how about that?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a hell of a story.
It's crazy to think, and people always ask, so what makes you think why do you think you got the role? And to be honest, the seriousness of it, I think, is that because I grew up in the era where there was no Star Wars between 6 and 1, I had no clue what Star Wars was. I mean, I grew up in a country where we had 3 TV channels on our TV. That was the most that anyone had in their household. And Star Wars wasn't being replayed every week.
Yeah.
So I had no idea.
It was like that in Youngstown when I was coming up, but only because of my age. There were CBS, NBC, and ABC. That was it.
That's Ohio?
I mean, but that was in the late 60s, I guess.
So growing up in the early 2000s was like growing up in the 60s. We were so far behind the rest of the world in New Zealand, like literally.
Yeah. Wow, there you go.
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh. Dang.
That's how it all happened.
Wow, we have a similar background. Did you work in a steel mill? Just kidding.
No, but I would have. I mean,
I would have.
I pushed a lawnmower for my grandfather. This is how I learned how to be a good businessman.
Yeah.
Hire your grandchild, pay him very cheap labor. I used to push a lawnmower up and down hills. I think he paid me like $4. And I used to be so excited for that $4 every week. I would run to his house. I would mow his lawn in bare feet because I only had one pair of shoes and I didn't want to get those things dirty.
Yeah, I didn't want to get them green.
You know how dangerous that is?
That's pretty darn good. I was thinking.
That's like rule number 1.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, wear steel-toed shoes for crying out loud.
Nope. And he didn't care as long as the job got done. And so he would have 3. He had 3 acres. And
3 acres?
Yeah, of hills. And he would come out after I put the lawnmower away, right? I mean, it was.
Please tell me at least it was gas powered.
It was gas powered, but you got to remember by the time that grass grew, you're lifting the lawnmower up and you're like, and then you're putting it back down. And
I remember those days.
But he would come out, and he would look across at all the grass, and he'd be like, mate, go get the lawnmower back out. You missed the spot. And I mean, we're talking a line of blade of grass. And I'd have to go pull the lawnmower out and go mow it again.
I'd have been looking for the scissors, maybe a scythe.
I wasn't that smart. I went back over 2 acres, grabbed the lawnmower, brought it back 2 acres, and
Dang.
yeah.
Damn. So you earned your stripes.
I earned my stripes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have rather been in a steel mill.
Yeah.
At least it would have been love at the end of the day.
Easy. Huh? No, you wouldn't have. Yeah. No. Trust me on that one.
It's funny that there's so many different things that can help to shape you to who you are today.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
when you look backwards, you realize, like, you know,
Oh yeah.
at times it was hard, but it kind of moved you forward to where you are today.
Yeah. And a lot of times, you know, you realize that the right place, wrong time, wrong place, right time, you know, fill in the blank.
Yeah.
You know, there, but for the grace of God.
So I believe in that saying, this too shall pass. No matter what you're going through, good, bad, ugly, you know,
Yeah,
hard,
that's right.
easy. It
Yeah,
will
even
pass.
if it's good.
Yep, it will pass.
Yeah, well.
So you're a kid, you're doing commercial. Along comes Attack of the Clones. Boom, get that. After that, do you start like, okay, this is like a career now? Do you start taking classes? Do you start studying acting, or just kind of a student of life and let your life experience dictate your performances?
I think up until that point, I was using my life experiences to be able to, you know, pull to create. Because people, you know, would ask like, oh, so, you know, how do you come up with these characters? And is it just you and every character? And, you know, I like to pull from other characters in order to produce a new person through me. And a lot of people live very turmoil lives in order to be able to create those characters.
Yeah.
And it was pretty hard for me in the beginning. You know, I grew up in a household, 3-bedroom home and 6 kids, you know, single mother. So we didn't have much, you know, and we had to create within. And my mom was the type of mom where she was like, as soon as 8 o'clock came around, she was like, get out of the house, you know, and go entertain yourselves. And we didn't come home until the sunlight came down. So we were building these bivouacs and, you know, creating and playing in the dirt, you know, and
Sure.
that was the life that we grew up with. You know, you don't really see kids playing outside anymore.
Yeah.
And then I was able to use those in order to be able to, you know, create these different characters where when I got to the United States, I had all this opportunity for all of these great, you know, acting teachers and voiceover teachers
Yeah.
and stuff like that, accent coaches, which, you know, I took full advantage of. I'd come up here twice, 3 times a week to do my acting class. I was learning the Stadler Adler method of acting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and dude,
Where was that? In just like
In Santa
Hollywood?
Monica.
Santa Monica.
yeah, and my teacher, he was brutal. He was the most amazing guy I could ever have asked for. Like, some people like me need someone like that, and if I wouldn't shut up and I was talking to the people next to me, he would literally tell me, go outside, run up the block, run back down, get in here, then you'll be ready for your scene. So I'd literally be huffing and puffing, coming back, and then just going straight on the stage.
Yeah.
Which I realized was good for me because I had so much more energy than everybody else. So I needed to burn that energy off in order to be able to center myself and then create.
That's interesting.
Which he was able
I
to
never
see
would
that.
have seen that one coming.
Either did
Yeah.
I. I just thought he was punishing me, and I didn't like running very much. So
Yeah. Who
Yeah.
who likes to run, you know?
Yeah. Who likes to run? Yeah.
I was always a very similar way. Like I've always been like a very physical actor. And I remember I was in this one class in college, and like you know, amazing teacher, but very hard. I always liked the very hard ass acting teachers, like acting coaches.
Yep.
Because like, that's how I respond. Like you, I played football growing up, you know, and maybe that comes from rugby and football. You know, we like the
Physical.
I never liked being in an acting class and like, you know, you go up, you do your scene or whatever, and then I hate it when they placate you and it's like, oh, that was amazing. And like, you're looking around at the rest of the class like, did we just watch the same thing? Like that was not good. And like, if I'm not giving a good performance, I don't want to hear that it was good.
Yes.
You know, I want to make
Yeah.
it better.
That's right.
Anyway, we did this exercise and she's like, you have all this like pent up energy. So you're going to do the scene again. And this is a theater stage course. You're going to do the scene again, but everybody in the class, it was a small class, like 8 people. Come here. Okay, lay on the floor. And she had me lay on the floor on my back.
Oh, boy.
And she had everybody pin down my limbs, like 2 on my legs, 2 on each arm. And she jumped on me and then held down my forehead and sat on my chest and said, scream your scene and try and get up. Do everything in your power to get up right now.
Nice.
And nobody let him up. And so I'm there, I'm like, ah, and I'm saying my lines and I'm starting to sweat. And I remember at the end, like I'm just screaming and tears are coming out of my eyes. And then she gets up and she's like, that's how you perform the scene. And it was like the best feeling ever. And I was like, oh man.
Wow.
Yeah. Miss Elizabeth, if you're watching this, shout out to you. That was awesome.
You never got that. Yeah,
Miss Elizabeth, huh?
I remember one time.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was super, super cool. But yeah,
And it's
that just made me
amazing
think of that running story. Yeah.
Yeah, my teacher, I just wasn't feeling it that day, and I got up and I gave a piss poor performance, and he told me, "Sit your ass down," and I was like, "What?" He goes, "Go back," because we had theater. He's like, "Go back and sit your ass down. I'm done with you," and I was like, what?
Okay.
He goes, and then he just sat up in front of everyone. He goes, you know what? If I came here every day and I just said, yep, that's great. Made you my money off you people, and I sent you out to the world, I wouldn't be doing myself justice. Mm-hmm. He goes, but you come up here and you give me a piss poor performance and you expect me to be okay with that? And he's like, this is what you're paying me for. And I remember just looking at him and being like, this is the most honest I've heard in a long time.
Yeah.
And,
a little too honest.
Made me respect him, though, And I definitely was like, you know what? It's time when I walk through those doors to be professional. And although we're not getting paid and we're actually paying someone to help hone our skills, you got to come in with 100% every single time.
Yeah, that's true, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, everything's well, I always had a philosophy. I haven't even thought of it in a long time, but when I started, I was doing plays and everything. And anyway, in a nutshell, every day is the Super Bowl. That's the only way I can think about it.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Every single recording session is the Super Bowl. And that puts you in the right. Because what if it's the only one you ever do? What if it's the only one? What if it's the last one?
That's
what
beautiful.
if it's the first or the last? But every day is the Super Bowl, and that just keeps you, keeps you primed.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. It's like that expression: "Practice makes perfect." No, perfect practice makes perfect. Yeah.
All right, Chris. Coming with this wisdom, I like it.
You can practice bad habits all day long, But if you perfect it,
you perfect your bad habits. That's what I've done. That's what got me.
That's why I haven't gone anywhere for a very long time. Damn it! I was like, well, I'm practicing.
That's why I get the medium bucks. The adequate, those big adequate dollars. Yes.
That's excellent.
Yeah, we laugh, but it is true in this city, especially. I mean, there is a lot of actors who don't act, like who call themselves an actor and don't go in classes and don't try and hone their craft. It's like you have to keep exercising that muscle. Like, do you forget how to act? No. Could you always be getting better at acting? Yes, absolutely. Like, you have to work it out. And man, like, I've seen A-listers in class, like A-listers still taking class, still working it out. Like, yeah, I'm not stopping. Like, this is my performance. This is my art. This is my craft. Very similar to how you've talked about, like exercising your voice and taking care of your voice.
Yeah.
From things like, recording Taz on Friday, so that you have that recording breather over the weekend.
Right. Yeah, Taz was a tough one. So
I have a friend, Christopher Lloyd.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And he came from, he came from a huge oil family. And he
oil family? I didn't know
family,
that.
Yeah. I think it was Texaco Oil. His family were one of the founders.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's amazing.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So he gave that all up to come to LA and pursue acting. And I believe his family were really, enthusiastic about him trying to pursue that career when they wanted him to be part of the oil.
Is anybody really... Well, I think I'll be an actor. Oh, shit.
It's the same when they're like, "You want your son to be an actor?"
Yeah. What did he say? He wants to attract her. Oh, an actor. Oh, no, no, don't do that.
He came out to LA and he said, I do all these classes for years because he didn't hit it until his 30s or something like that, and he said, I was able to go around and tell people I was an actor because I was working in acting classes. You know, so for the beginning of 10 years or whatever before he actually made it, he was actually telling people he was an actor. And all he was doing was he was acting in classes. And so, you know, in his mind, he was an actor, which he technically was because...
Well, he was.
He was acting in classes, yeah.
He was acting like an actor.
Yeah. And then he made it, you know, and
Yeah.
could you imagine taking that risk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of young people, maybe not so much more so these days with like social media and stuff and how you can get like celebrity off that. But I think a lot of people confuse wanting to be famous with wanting to be an actor.
Yeah.
You know, and being an actor
that's a
was
good
like
observation.
such a big avenue for being famous for so long. I mean, all of my childhood, you know, it's like if you want to be famous, you go be an actor, you know, not even really a singer, you know, like the level of celebrity wasn't even really that high for singers. You know, you didn't really know their faces as well
you
as
had
you
to be
knew
big.
their music, their songs. But I think maybe that's changed with like, you know, I don't know, do kids want to be like social media stars, TikTokers and stuff? You know, I think that's kind of where the previous actor generation funneled it into, you know, it's like, oh, we can just do this and you don't even I'm not gonna really shit on them and say they don't have to practice a craft because there is a skill set that goes into making those little short videos and stuff.
But it's more a skill set than a...
It's like almost like a knowledge set in my brief exposure. It's like they really know like what engages people and they're good at identifying trends.
The algorithms.
And then technology, then mix in some technology with the X amount of... It's probably the venue that's open to the most people with the smallest skill set or acting.
Yeah.
Acting acumen or however you want to put it. You know, if you can act like you're pissed off for 30 seconds, then you'll be okay.
Right.
You know, or something, or that you're happy for 30 seconds, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Well, technology has a big play in that as well. I mean,
sure.
When I grew up, you had a cassette that you put into your camera. You know what I mean? And you only had one shot at it, you know, until you went back, and then you put into a cassette player, you know, and then had to rewind and be like, you messed that up.
Yeah.
When now you can film everything on your phone. You know, the cameras that they have created are just incredible. You know, you can do a playback on the computer on the camera nowadays.
Yeah.
Where if you didn't get it right, let's shoot it again.
I have to show you guys this picture because I just I just saw this the other day. And so you know the new movie 28 Years Later, you know, it's like a sequel to 28 Days Later. 28
I
years.
think I just saw that. Ad for it.
Yeah.
Nuclear.
So the whole thing,
red.
because they shot the first 28 days later on like a handy cam or something. Like it was like a consumer camera that they shot it on. And so they're trying to like capture that kind of
I think they did the Blair Witch Project like that.
And so this one's shot entirely on an iPhone, but look at the rig that they have for this iPhone.
Oh, Jesus. And that's the iPhone rig?
That's an iPhone with like a focus puller, a $100,000 lens.
That's not an iPhone anymore.
Exactly. And it's like shot on an iPhone with $100,000 of camera equipment attached to it.
Ridiculous.
All right, guys, here.
We'll superimpose it. Yeah, we'll superimpose it for you guys.
That is ridiculous.
Oh, man.
How crazy is that? Like shot on an iPhone. They should have to have like a little asterisk. Like
yes. Yes.
This isn't quite an iPhone anymore.
Yeah, what we carry around in our pockets is just amazing. But, you know, now everything can just be instantly. If you have an idea, if you're somewhere, you know, you can instantly capture that moment.
That's true.
You know, and so I think technology has come such a long way where now, you know, you can instantly become, you know, your own cameraman, your own actor, you know what I mean? Editor,
writer.
Everything in your palm of your hands.
Yeah.
Producer.
Yeah, produce, exactly.
Yep. Yeah, it's a weird world.
Oh.
It's an odd world. You'd never have, there's nothing, I mean, like even 10, 15 years ago, you couldn't have predicted everything that's going on now.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, podcasts, how about that? How long have those been around?
Not long. Thinking about it, I can't even think. It's not long though. I mean,
Maybe like 20 years.
Yeah,
Really?
but how long have they really been like,
And like popular,
yes.
like yeah, the recent like surge in popularity, I would say, started in like with a lot of like the YouTube podcasts, like this style.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's kind of like the shift that we're talking
Yeah.
about. I would say it's probably like the late 2010s, like probably like 2017,
No, okay.
2018 is kind of when they
Yeah.
started to like,
That's what I was
kind of
thinking.
like the Joe Rogan era started. Everybody
Yeah.
started talking about, podcasts
Yeah.
and then COVID just kicked it through the roof. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, now every single, now we have a podcast about, Porky the Pig who wears a pinecone hat, or like, I don't even know.
Anything and everything.
Yeah. Podcast about podcasts.
There's many of those.
Yeah. Here's one now.
Podception.
Yeah. We're pod people. And if you get that reference, you're old too.
Well, it's an awesome it's an awesome opportunity to hear different stories that you really wouldn't hear, on the mainstream, television or media,
sure.
and they're just so natural that sometimes people just want. I think we grew up in that generation of eavesdropping, right? Where you'd always want to listen to your mom and her friends at the table, talking around about things in the neighborhood, or just natural conversations.
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
we still have that. It's
A little voyeurism.
Yes, where you just get to sit and listen in and hear just stories that I think it's come from generations where
Oh yeah.
we did it all our lives. We just didn't get.
I think it's like in our like human DNA, like even like, you go way back to like Euripides and like these old philosophers who literally just sat around all day and like tried to figure out life just with like 10-hour lectures,
and Socrates,
Socrates, all of them.
Socrates.
And they would just, sit around and like, what is life? Like what is the capital T truth, and then just like argue back and forth and try and poke holes in logic and philosophies. And, it's something about us where it's like conversation kind of lets us figure out our world a little bit, It's,
Oh, yeah. Oh, I agree.
Definitely.
Yeah.
we hear stories and, oh yeah, that applies to this in my life, or this, I went through something similar, or the complete opposite. Like, oh my God, like, I can't believe people had to live that way, or, wow, what a unique experience,
I remember when you would hear a story and then you would go and tell someone else's story and you would change in it a little bit, and then they would tell the
you have
story
to,
and it always changed. So then by the time that it got to like the 5th, 6th, 10th person, it was a completely different story than what you heard firsthand at the dinner table, right?
Yeah. We used to, there was a name for that. We used to play it in school, and you would take a phrase and say, well, I went to the corner store the other day and bought myself an apple. And by the time it got around to the other side, my applesauce was frozen in my grandmother's Chihuahua. What?
Yeah, that was the game Telephone.
Yeah, telephone.
Telephone, that's it.
Telephone, that was the
That's
game.
it.
I remember getting frustrated when there would be like little shit disturbers in the line and they'd purposefully change
Yes,
things. And it's
yes.
like, no, it's an experiment to see how hard we can
you
try and
can't.
keep it the same.
Yeah, you're supposed to
Nope.
keep it
And then
right.
there'd be people that like purposefully like, oh yeah, like
Yeah. I hate those
took a
guys.
doo-doo.
Yeah, right.
Nobody
Telephone.
said that.
There you go, kids. This is something that your generation probably doesn't have nowadays either. You know what I mean? Like, and
I hope
we're
the
not
kids
that
still
old.
play Telephone. I hope so.
Yeah, me too.
We had so many great games as kids.
Yeah.
I remember we would play this one game on a 4-square, and 4 people stood on the corners, and then one person stood in the middle, and
still
they
play
had
that.
to switch. They had to switch
They still play
corners
that.
before you could run to the other corner.
Yes.
Oh man,
Musical
I think it's called
square.
Switch.
Switch. Yeah, I think it is called Switch.
Switch or Twitch?
Switch.
Twitch is video game.
Yeah.
Video game. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Never mind.
See, you grew up in the generation where you had the
Pong.
No, the squares, and then you'd throw like a little rock, and then you had to jump over it, and then
Hopscotch.
Oh, hopscotch. Hopscotch.
yes,
Yes, I do remember hopscotch.
hopscotch and jump rope.
Yeah,
They were new technologies
yeah,
when you were young, weren't they?
Well, they had just invented rope. I had a rope. Everybody had to have a rope. Have you seen this shit? Look, it's a rope. Look at that. Look at that.
And if you put it between 2 hands and swing it around, someone can jump between it.
Yeah.
See, we had this thing.
We had just invented rocks. the year before. Yeah, and then you could flat rock them across a creek. How did this happen?
Do you remember the game Red Ass? Red Ass?
No.
It was like wall ball, and if you dropped the ball, then you had to start running and try and touch the wall. And if somebody else picked up the ball and threw it at the wall and it touched the wall before you did, then you'd have to go up and pay a penalty, and you'd put your hands on the wall and they would pelt a ball at your ass as hard as they could.
Oh, great.
They don't do that kind of stuff nowadays. I grew up.
No, I know they don't do it anymore. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
Do you remember the thing that used to have like...
Not allowed to have actual fun.
No. And no one could get hurt.
Yeah, that's right.
I grew up where we had this thing that we'd put around our ankle, and then you'd kind of skip, and there was this like bigger thing that was attached to it, and it would kind of go around.
And you'd have to spin it. Yeah,
Yes.
What the hell was that?
Oh my God, what was that called?
And it lit up.
Yes.
Yes.
The good ones lit
Yes.
up and rang, had a bell in it or something.
Exactly.
It was called You're Gonna Fall Eventually.
100%. Or you're just sitting there. I mean...
Yeah.
Our parents would be like, it was the greatest thing I bought them. They just stand there all day, jumping and swinging. It leaves me the hell alone.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What did we do with our iPhones and tablets and stuff like that? I mean,
we used to have slingshot fights. Does anybody even know out there what a slingshot is?
yes.
I had a neighborhood full of cousins. And I was toward the younger side, so I was getting my ass kicked on a regular basis. And but slingshots were the great equalizer.
Oh, they were the best thing invented.
You could put out their eye just as easily as they could put out yours.
And no one wore glasses or helmets or anything, you know?
No.
Like, there was no, hey, make sure you put eyewear on before you start slingshotting each other.
No way.
Nope.
Yeah.
You just ran home like, oh, my eye's bleeding, you know? Like, get back outside.
We used to freeze paintballs.
Oh, you're brutal.
Yeah. We used to slingshot paintballs, and then we used to freeze them, and take them to the paintball park. And those would break skin. You were getting.
Yeah. You were being hit with a rock.
You were bleeding for sure.
So were you making them out of sticks? Like, would you go to a tree and find like a perfect
The Y?
V?
Yeah.
I
like
would
a Y
occasionally. I've done that.
And then make your own ones? Okay.
Yeah, and then and I remember, and I think it was, God, this can't be right. I can't be that old. I feel like they were in like, not 7-Elevens, because I don't think we had them, but whatever the equivalent might have been, you could buy a slingshot right next to just like it was a pack of gum. And nowadays, the idea of kids getting slingshot, it's insane. It's just like, call my lawyer now, get it over with now, because someone's getting sued.
Well, I was about to sue my own son, who's 7.
See, he told you someone was getting sued.
Well, so I'm in Japan. I get this call. My wife's crying, and she can barely talk. And I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, your son shot me in the eye. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And every Christmas, we buy Nerf guns, and we have Nerf gun fights with everyone who comes for Christmas.
That's awesome.
So the whole house ends up with all these Nerf bullets all over the ground. But
not much blood.
No blood up until this point. Last year, I got the ones with the hard rubber tip. And my wife, she used to have -16 eyesight. So we invested in her eyes, and we got these brand new laser chips that they put over the iris, or they take out the iris and they put these chips in, which make your 20/20. Yeah.
What?
It's incredible. Incredible.
What?
So he and her are sitting on the couch, and for some weird reason, he shoots at his mother, but he hits her perfectly dead square in the eye, and it shifts the lens. But the lens like blows up. So she sends me a picture. It looks like he's blowing out her iris. I'm like, oh my goodness, like, I'm going to have a half-blind wife. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in Japan. I'm like, I got to get on a flight back. So I fly back, and she had to go in for an emergency surgery on her eye where they had to remove the old lens and then put a new lens in. Yeah.
Yeesh.
And so... And that was a pretty penny, you know?
There goes your college fund.
Pretty much. I'm like, you know what, kid? Like, you're going to have to start working harder around the house because, that's how I paid for my things.
Yeah,
you stop mowing the lawn without shoes on.
I was going to say, that's going to be a lot of acres.
Yes.
Get that lawnmower going, son.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, just simple things like that, and they weren't even as dangerous as a slingshot, I thought, and so now we had to put the Nerf guns up in the attic, and
Oh man, that ain't right.
We just sing Christmas carols.
No, we're reduced to normal fun. No more.
It was so
no
fun,
more
though.
weaponry.
Christmas was so fun. I mean, we'd have like 20 people, and we've all got these Nerf guns. I got this one that was like it had like the spinning thing, and it'd shoot like 100 Nerf bullets and within seconds. It was like, brrr, it was like a gauntlet gun, like.
Oh,
So I would just hide behind the couch and light everybody up. It was, it was a good way to spend Christmas. War at the Logans.
Yeah.
And one had to ruin it for everyone.
Oh, well, it only takes one. That's the old.
That's it.
Yeah. Oh God.
So what keeps you busy these days?
Oh man.
Working on any new projects?
Being a dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, so when I got into Star Wars, George Lucas actually had started sending me these huge boxes down in New Zealand full of toys, brand new toys. And so I would open these boxes up. I mean, they were giant. The shipping on these things to send to New Zealand was like $600-700 just to ship these toys to me. It probably wasn't even $600-700 worth of value in these things. And so I'd open up these boxes, and as soon as I opened up the box, I still get it to today. Like, I just smelled America. But not realizing it was probably smelled like China, brand new plastic, brand new plastic toys, and I still relate it to it today when I get these, boxes of toys. And so then I started collecting. Star Wars toys exclusively. And so I would do Comic Cons, and I would go around to the booths, and I would negotiate with some of the, the booth owners.
Smart.
To buy out their collections off them, and then I would ship them back to my my house or my storage units or wherever I was storing my stuff at the time. And I did this all over the world. Like, I had a house in England that I bought, and then I was like, well, instead of renting it out, I could just use it as a storage unit for all my toys that I buy in Europe, because they're actually different brands.
That's a lot of toys to fill up a house.
I have.
I mean, wow.
When I last counted, which was a long time ago, I had over 100,000 Star Wars toys and collectibles.
100,000?
100,000.
100,000, yeah.
I didn't think there was 100,000.
What? Is there like footage or pictures? Like, can we see this somewhere?
Yeah, I got some videos and stuff. I got
online or anything, or private?
I have a group on Facebook called Bounty Boxes, and my wife was like, I sold one of my houses in England, the one I had stored all the toys in, and she's like, I brought over a 40-foot container full of toys. But I had to literally shove the door closed.
Like a shipping container.
The biggest shipping container you can get, 40 feet. And I had to literally push the door and lock it at the same time because it was that jam-packed.
Wow.
Floor to ceiling. And so I brought it over, and my wife, her face dropped. And she's like, this is ridiculous.
What are you going to do?
This is a joke. Like, we are not buying any more storage units or any more office spaces. Like, I've got like...
she might have a point.
Yeah, I just...
He goes, yeah.
I got that addictive personality, and I just got addicted to everything Star Wars.
Wow.
So she's like, yeah, we're not renting out any more storage units. I've got about 3 storage units and a pretty large warehouse office, just jam-packed full of toys. And so she's like, well, you're going to have to like do something about this because we're not renting any more spaces. So I was like, it was just before the pandemic hit. And I was like, let me see what I can do.
Yeah.
And so I put a couple things on Instagram, and I got DMs on them within seconds. And I would imagine. I had about, I think, 10 or 15 of the same figure. And people hit me up and they were like, we want it now. So I was like, okay. So then I put another couple things up, and then they went in seconds. So then someone told me about Facebook, and you could have these groups that you can, you can run and stuff. And so that's how Bounty Boxes came to life. And then I would make mystery boxes that I would just put, I'd put way more than the value of what what was the price of the box. Mm-hmm. And I'd send them out to people. But then I would draw like a Boba Fett helmet on the box. Mm-hmm. So then it just took off. And
so it personalized it.
Yeah, made it a little bit more personal. And then it took off, and we're about 11,500 people in about 4 or 5 years. And they just buy my collection daily. So I went from,
I can't believe you still have anything left.
Oh, I've got hundreds. There's still units and offices jam-packed. My garage is all full that's where I ship and do my shipping and handling out of.
Wow.
I have my home office, which, is an office I go and sit in.
Wow.
I probably, I can't even tell you the value of stuff that I have in there.
Yeah.
Because I've got everything from vintage to modern and Lego. So Lego was probably one of my best investments I've done. I started buying Lego in early 2000s, only Star Wars. And I never opened them up.
There's a lot.
Wow.
I didn't realize that the stock on, if Lego Star Wars toys was a stock, it was raising about 15% every year, 10 to 15%.
That's wonderful.
In value. Yeah, so I had stuff from early 2000s, like 2002, 2000.
Oh my God.
You know, some I bought.
So you spent $20 now, and now you've got like 150 or 200.
500.
Oof.
Wow.
Yeah.
No kidding. That's wonderful.
Yeah. So whenever people say, well, what should I do for it? I was like, buy Star Wars, Lego. Don't open them, sit on them. Use that as an investment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So I do that nowadays. I'm also very involved with my son's life. You know, I volunteer at his school a couple of times a week, PE and class.
Nice.
I like to
that's great.
pick up and drop offs. Like I try to do the Comic Cons I leave on a Friday and I'm back home on a Sunday because I want to go back to being a dad. You know, although we're doing pretty well and the conventions, you know, do well as well. I still want to be a father, and I don't want to miss out on these times and these, you know.
They don't come back.
They don't come back. So that's been keeping me pretty busy. I did a couple of things recently with Star Wars. So they invited me back to do the Lego Star Wars game, which I was able to voice the original Boba Fett. And Tim, the guy who played my father, Tim Morrison, he's become like an uncle to me.
He's a great guy.
Love
Yeah, he's a good guy.
nicest guy out there.
He was on the podcast.
Yeah.
He was?
Yeah.
He's such a lovely guy. I mean, I love
he
him.
sure is.
You know, and that was one of the other blessings being in Star Wars was being able to get people like him in my life who have helped to raise me as well. And when they asked him to come back and play Boba Fett in the Book of Boba Fett, I wish I would have had a chance to be able to talk to him because I found out from someone on set and they called me like, Daniel, you know, we could get fired for this, but, you know, we know how much you've given to Boba Fett and how much you've given to the Star Wars community. We just thought, you know, you should know that they're doing a Boba Fett series and I'm guessing you're not going to be in it. And I was like, what? And I was like, well, is Tim Morrison going to be in it? And they're like, no, I don't think it's him either. And because he'd gained a little bit of weight and he'd shaved his head, he'd look different than when he did when he was in episode 2.
Right.
And so I caught up Lucasfilm and I'm like, you know how the fan base can be. This fan base is very passionate.
Yeah, that's right.
You haven't even given me a chance to try to figure out something I can say when they come back and they start, you know, with all the bullying and you know, being like, yeah, Daniel Logan sucked anyway. We're glad he wasn't in it or whatever. It would be nice to have that little bit of a opportunity to foresight to be able to create my own, you know, lines that I can come back with. So then when they asked me to come back to play the original Boba Fett in the Lego game, when Jeremy Bulloch, who was a saint, when he did it and they voiced, the guy voiced his lines, I realized were like more like a throwaway. Like when he advertised himself, he was like, I'm Boba Fett. And when Tim Morrison did it, it was more, I'm Boba Fett. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can hear it.
And so it changed the whole.
Yes,
Just that one part of Boba Fett is very important.
Yeah.
Because how he advertises himself is more like, you know who I am. Instead of, do you know who I am?
Right.
You know, it's not a question, it's a statement.
Yes.
Like, you know who I am.
Absolutely.
So
yes.
My whole life, I had watched the 3 seconds of the originals, you know what I mean, or whatever it was, just joking, and then listened to the voice over and over and over, so that when I was called to come back, I knew exactly how to deliver those lines, and I knew exactly how he sounded in the delivery of him, because technically I was going to grow into him.
Yeah.
But then when they brought Tim back, I then had to merge both voices as one.
Ooh.
Because I delivered the lines like the original Boba Fett, but I had the accent of Tim. So I was like, I'm Boba Fett. You know, he's got a little bit more. I always make jokes, and I love Tim to death, and he's like, damn it, my boy, you know, he shakes his head at me quite often. But I'm like, we were kind of like Yogi Bear and Boo Boo. You know, he's like,
oh, God.
Hey, Boba Fett, did you go and close the door yet? And I'm like, oh yes, Dad, I did. You know what I mean? Like we were kind of like this Yogi Bear and
That's
and
funny.
Boo Boo.
Yeah, Boo Boo. Hey, Boo Boo.
Hey, Boo Boo, go close the door. The Jedi's trying to look at my jetpack. You know.
Yeah.
So
Oh
I
God.
merged both of them together.
Yeah.
And then I was blessed to be asked to come back and be in the Bad Batch, which so many of the fans had been waiting for the Bad Batch return of or Boba Fett to come into the Bad Batch because we had found out that Boba Fett had a sister, which her name was Omega, which played perfect because now you have Alpha and Omega. And obviously the fans so desperately wanted to see Omega meet her brother Boba Fett, and what would he have done? Would he have protected her? Would he have tried to, put a bounty on her?
Right.
What would have been the dynamic?
What kind of dynamic would that be?
100%,
Hell of a reunion, family reunion, right?
Well, when you see in the Clone Wars where he has all these clones that look like his father, and he goes, "You're not my brother." You know what I mean? Like, who would have known what the dynamic between a little sister or a sister would have been, instead of all these clones that he just regularly got to see on a daily basis that all reminded him of his father. And then I was like, great, like, we're going to introduce Boba Fett through a different character called Mox. And then all of a sudden, Mox is going to then all of a sudden become Boba Fett. Like, oh, actually, that was his code name or his, his undercover name, to then becoming this Boba Fett again, like we did kind of in the Clone Wars. And so I was like, oh, great. Like, so what are we going to go with this? And I remember them telling me like, oh no, this is the third and final season. This is all there's going to be. And I'm like, so now I know that all I'm going to be is a damn clone. You know what I mean? Like, there is no chance for Boba Fett to come into the Bad Batch. But we had actually done quite a bit in the Clone Wars. Most people don't realize, but we had
a clone,
Well, the Clone Wars was an incredible series. I mean, there's so much love for that series. And I got asked 8 years later after I did Attack of the Clones to come back and reprise Boba Fett in the Clone Wars.
Right.
And I remember Dave Filoni coming up to me and going, hey, like, we want you to be Boba Fett, but we got these other clones. Like, do you think you could do different voices? And I was so intimidated just to be back that I was like, oh, no. And I kicked myself all the time because right after we did it, I was like, what were you thinking? Like, of course I can do more voices.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I used to, anytime somebody asked me that, I go, oh, yeah. I hope.
Yes, that's what I should have went with. Just faked it until I made it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I started getting more comfortable as the series went by. But then we had like a 7th season where Boba Fett was meant to, get his armor, start doing bounties. He was meant to, the duel between him and Cad Bane was he was meant to kill Cad Bane. But then it made for the iconic dent in the helmet, which everyone always wondered where the dent came from. And I used to make jokes. And there was one scene where Tim Witter Morrison in episode 2, he was walking up the Slave One, and he goes to duck, but he doesn't duck further enough up the ramp, and he smashes his head into the door of the Slave One.
And that's how?
Well, and I say, like, his head was so big that, it was stuck in the helmet and he hit himself against the door, and that's what created the dent. But then later on, the Cad Bane duel came, and it was incredible because, I was taught in the generation, men don't cry and everything, but my eyes teared full of water when I started reading these scripts and where they were going to take Boba Fett, because that's what all the fans want nowadays. They want to pick up from the prequels and they want to go right up into Empire Strikes Back.
That's right.
There's so much story there that hasn't been explored. I mean, the original fans wanted the Sarlacc pit after, but the generation of the prequels fans, they want to see where Boba Fett is after the prequels and where it ends up in Empire Strikes Back. And we started taking them there in the Clone Wars. We started, we got him in whole armor. He blew up his dad's helmet, so that's not the same helmet that Jango Fett would hit his head on in the Slave One in the original. So where did he get that helmet?
Get that continuity going.
You got it, and where he found his new armor, how he went about the painting of the armor. Then he started doing bounties, and then we just saw at Celebration, this last one in London, that they released the chasing scene where I'm fully kitted in Boba Fett armor and we're flying through Coruscant, like a Coruscant kind of scene, and Anakin Skywalker is chasing me.
That's cool.
It was so cool. It was so cool. I think it was like 6
That's
scripts,
crazy.
And they explored it and they went there, and
it
was amazing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And that's for For what release?
That was for the Clone Wars. It was meant to be season 7, but then something happened where they just didn't want to go. I think with kids killing, and you know, obviously, I was like, "This is Star Wars. This is what they do." I mean, you know, Anakin Skywalker wasn't that old, and he started slaughtering little younglings.
The younglings.
You know what I mean? At least I'm killing off, you know, older Jedis.
Oh
and
God, yeah,
stuff like that, and
yeah. Well, I was my buddy Hondo was recruiting younglings to do his nefarious stuff.
Yes,
but he does not lead them into battle.
no, he just makes money off
He
them.
just
like
makes money off them. That's different.
He should have been a bounty hunter in himself because he was like Boba Fett. It was all about the galactic credits.
Yeah. Well, you know, he was a businessman.
Yes,
An opportunistic businessman.
and I like those characters.
Yeah, me too.
They get to explore more than just the Jedi, the Sith, and the dark and the dark side. Like there is all these different characters in between that make it.
Well, that's what
universe.
makes it interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, it's that gray area.
Yeah.
He'll either go dark side or not so dark side, depending on where the green side.
The galactic credits.
Yeah, where the green side is.
Yes.
He's big on the green side. Yeah,
Where did you come up with that voice? Because that voice is definitely Hondo, and it's so like when you watch that character, you couldn't imagine him having any other voice besides that perfect voice that you created.
Good. Well, good. I
It's just so natural.
hold on to that. Yeah. Well, you know, I realized if you do, I've said this 100 times, but if you do a bad impression, nobody knows who it is. Somebody famous. That's a new character. If you do a perfect impression of somebody everybody knows, that you never know. You'll be able to use it. And if you put two characters together, like Hondo is Yul Brynner and Charles Bronson put together. You know, because Yul Brynner, he had this sort of I can't remember. I think it was Russian and Chinese. His parents were Russian and Chinese. So I don't know where he got his accent, but obviously from Russia and China. And but you know, there was that, and then you know, Charles Bronson, he had that sort of monotone, and I just put them together, and that is where you get Hondo. Hondo comes out from Yul Brynner and Charles Bronson. Not a good-looking kid, if they had one, but if they did have one, he would sound like Hondo. So that's where he came from.
So did you have to audition, or they just call you now and they're like, Jim?
Oh, well, back then, well, yeah. I mean, that's a long time ago.
Yeah. 2008, 2009.
Yeah, Clone Wars, close to 20 years.
Yeah, at least. Because I remember the house I was in. That's how I remember recording the first thing. And I auditioned for Cad Bane and Hondo that day. And yeah, I think they were both just kind of writing them.
Yep.
You know, getting used to. They didn't know what they were going to do with any of them. And Hondo was destined to appear in a 2 or 3 episode arc of Clone Wars. And we did it. And I think it was like out of the first 18 or whatever shows, he was in like the 4th and the 5th. And fortunately, their turnaround time was rather brisk back then. Yeah, and so they got back the stuff and played it for a few people, and people go, oh, well, we like this guy. So they wrote him back in, and he snuck in a couple others. And then when Bad Batch or Rebels came around, they go, well, let's bring him back for this. And next thing you know, he's kind of a staple now.
That's a great thing with Dave Filoni, though. You know, if he really likes you, he will keep you working.
Yeah,
he'll keep you coming back. He'll find a way to bring. I was about to
say it's Dave Filoni's imagination.
Yep.
is a fine thing. And bless you, sir, wherever you are.
Yeah, I say he's like an encyclopedia of Star Wars. You know, and I mean, but he literally learned from the God himself, George Lucas.
Yeah, he sure did.
He learned from the Old Testament and is now writing the New Testament for the new Star Wars fans.
Yeah,
very true, very true.
Well, you know, he said too that that George told him to if he wanted to get a feel for the battle scenes, for this, for that, he said he recommended World War II movies, and just imagine instead of a tank, let it be a one of the big walkers,
At Walker or
Yeah. You know what's so cool about on that topic? I went to Pearl Harbor a couple years ago, 2 years ago. I went to Pearl Harbor, and they have the museum there of the what is it? The USS Missouri
yes,
is
Missouri.
Stationed out there.
Yeah.
And you got to do a whole tour, go
And
all through it.
It was
And
that
the
ship against
the
China
gun
or
turrets,
Japanese.
the gun turrets that they have mounted on that ship are literally the two-legged bipedal. I forget what they're called, but in Star Wars,
ATSTs.
They're on top.
it's literally like that shape. Like you look at it and like, oh, that's where they got inspired from. Like that's Star Wars. Like that's straight up Star Wars.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah. And fun fact about that ship, because I just thought it was amazing. The cannons on that ship, they can rotate any way they want, but it has to be shooting forwards because they're so powerful that if it shoots off to the side, it'll flip the boat.
Yeah.
Flip the aircraft carrier, excuse me. It'll flip that. And they have such a big range on those shots, they can hit anywhere in Hawaii from Pearl Harbor.
That is ridiculous.
They don't even have to move the boat. They can hit anywhere in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Boom.
Goodbye.
Hasn't been shot since World War II, but...
Imagine the recoil, though. It probably shoots you back 2 miles.
Oh,
so now we have to drive back another 2 miles just to get back to where we shot at the last spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's kind of an amazing thing.
But yeah,
isn't it?
huge. It's so cool. If anybody gets the chance to go to Pearl Harbor, to go to the museum out there, it's a great museum. It's really historical, and you'll see some Star Wars references.
Yes.
Yeah, you can pick up it from quite a few places in that era, and eras older. Like I think Darth Vader was designed around the samurai, the samurai kind of look, or
I know what you're talking about. The Seven Samurai, the helmet.
Yes, with the helmet.
Yeah, with that weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to think that, and I used to think a little Nazi in there.
Oh, for sure.
Oh no, that's the
huge. Huge Nazi.
That's like the huge.
That's what he referenced. Just the outfits. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
imperial outfits and stuff
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah.
Very much.
Yeah, you can see him.
Even just think about like the guy that he chokes, the force choke. That looks like an SS uniform.
Yeah.
It's like straight up, like boom.
Yeah, I think that guy was named Richard LaPalmatera or something. Wasn't he the guy who got?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I just referenced
lovely
that
guy.
because that image, I swear, is burned in everybody's head. Like you can
iconic.
think, oh yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah.
That's like when I pick up the helmet. It's some scenes in Star Wars which just leave an imprint in Star Wars history for life.
Yeah. I remember seeing that in the teaser trailer, like as a kid, and like just like getting chills. Like, oh my, like I don't know. Did you ever feel any of there was a lot of like online backlash over the prequels. And like, I just never understood the hate. I was like, man, like I thought they hated Jar Jar Binks for some reason. The internet hated Jar Jar, but I feel like it's kind of gone through a cycle now where like how you mentioned, there's like a great fandom for them now. But I feel like they were kind of, I don't know. Did you experience that at the time when they were released?
Oh yeah. I got bullied like no other, because
No way.
well, because you got to remember that these Star Wars fans had waited 16 years for their Star Wars to come back. And then when it had come back with the visuals and the colors and the special effects, it was totally different than what they got to grow up with. But they didn't realize that George Lucas was moving on and he was creating something for their kids to have as their own Star Wars, not for them, and they still felt entitled to it, to where they were, they looked at me and they were like, that's not what we imagined Boba Fett to be like. That kid sucked. His acting was terrible. And so this was when like AOL and, Facebook was just getting started and MySpace. And so people would pick on me online.
Oh, boy.
And then that's why I didn't really open up an Instagram until about 9 years ago. Because someone was like, you got to get an Instagram. I'm like, no, I'm not interested in going online and having people pick on me and bully me and stuff. And I'd go to conventions and, people would literally come up to my face and be like, you were in the worst Star Wars film ever. You sucked. Your movie sucked. Like, like,
my
and
goodness.
because
What an a-hole.
this is when the original fan base was still coming to conventions and they were the ones who were keeping it alive.
Yeah.
And so me, Jake Lloyd got it really bad. I mean, I just saw Jake Lloyd a month ago.
He was the kid played Anakin?
Kid Anakin, yeah. And he got it really bad. They literally had to move him from California to Indianapolis or Indiana because the fan base was very, very brutal to him. Yeah, he got it really bad. And then me and him were brought out in early 2000s to go and do the Comic-Cons, and we would get it bad. I mean, you know, I just put on a smile like, hey, well, thank you for your opinion. I appreciate your kind words, even though they weren't kind.
Yeah.
You know, and we would be sitting next to the Jeremy Bullocks, the Dave Prowses, the Kenny Bakers. I mean, we're talking, you know, the original 9 or whatever it is. And they would have lines. And me and Jake would have like maybe 2 or 3 people in our lines at a time. And they just wouldn't give us a shot. And then none of the other prequel actors really. Well, Ray Park would be out there and a couple more. There weren't very many of us.
I've seen him, yeah.
And we would go through like these conventions and just stick in it. And, you know, now, however many years later, the prequel fans are now the kids who have jobs. They're in their 30s, 40s. You know what I mean? They're starting families of their own. And they grew up with that Star Wars. And George Lucas, whatever he did, worked because it just carried the next generation into Star Wars, which kept it alive. So now our lines are long. You know, the people are coming up and telling me I'm in the greatest Star Wars film.
Yeah, I was going to say, you do really well. I mean, nowadays.
Well, it's because I love Star Wars and I love the fans, and I've stuck in it so long that, you know, these parents that brought their kids up, these kids are now adults who are bringing their kids up. And they're like, wow, I remember when I was 5 years old and I came up and you played lightsaber fights with me. And, you know, you gave me a free autograph, a free picture. And I've got a job now and I want to pay for your autograph. And you're like,
boy.
What? And then they show you pictures. And then now we're even recreating pictures. Like, you know, I would pick up a kid and hold them like this. And they're like, well, I'm 5'9". Can we do the same picture? I'm like, you know, and you're holding up these grown people.
Yeah,
now.
Maybe not, but yeah.
But so now it's the prequel era's time, and now you have the Hayden Christensen's coming out. You've got the Ewan McGregor starting to come out. You know, and it's only taken 20 years, but they finally came out because the love is now there for them. Where 20 years ago, oh man, it was brutal.
Was different world.
It was brutal. I'm not gonna lie, but I got through it. You know, and I just came out. I put a smile on my face. The people who came and saw me, I showed them as much love as I could have.
Never would have seen that one coming.
Yeah. Jake Lloyd dropped off. He was like, you know, I just can't do it. And
who was it?
Jake Lloyd, the young Anakin. He hasn't been to a convention in over 16 years.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, he should now. They would. Well, I would think.
He went through. I guess I can talk about it now, where I kind of kept it private before, but you know, he ended up getting schizophrenia. And so now he's been going through the mental treatment. Yeah, bless him. Like, I love the guy. I mean, we went and had his birthday together. I bought him a computer tower. He said to me, I said, well, what do you need right now? And he's like, well, all I can basically do, besides all his classes and stuff he's doing, is play video games. And so I was like, all right, well, I'll get you a PlayStation 5 or something. He's like, oh, no, I play computer. And I'm like, but my computer is old, it's slow, and he's having some problems with it. So I was like, I didn't know how much a computer was. So I was like, don't worry, I'll get you one, dude. Like, I got you for your birthday. He's like, really? Well, like, can I at least give you some money for it or whatever? And, you know, I've been very blessed in my life. And I'm like, no, don't worry, I'll take care of the computer. I got you. So then I went to a computer place and I asked how much a tower was. Yeah, they're not cheap.
Hello.
I could have bought a small car.
Ding, ding.
I could have bought a small car for how much this tower cost.
Jesus.
Well, because it's an upsell. Yeah. You go in, you buy the tower, then they're like, well, what kind of gamer is he? Oh, I don't know. I think a pretty good one. Okay, well, you're going to need a video card.
Well, you're going to definitely.
You're going to need a bigger hard drive.
Need a
This thing doesn't come with Windows, so you're going to have to buy Windows.
Ew.
Oh, do you want a bigger fan? Or do you? And I'm like,
Hold on.
Yep. So I walked out of there. It was thousands. But you know what? He deserves it. You know, it was his birthday. So
My birthday's coming up, by the way.
When's your birthday coming up?
November.
We'll get you a birthday and a Christmas gift.
Okay, I thought I'd get him my dip together. Just putting it out there. Planting a seed.
But so yeah, he dropped off, you know, and I just stuck in it, and you know, the fans have been good to me now, you know, and like they weren't. I said at a convention one time, I said, you know, when I first got bullied, because I was bullied at school and by my brother and stuff, I became very strong and I started boxing. Mm-hmm. And
Oh, wow. You too, huh?
so I just told these grown people, like, all right, well, if you want to bully me and you want to talk down to me and pick on me, then just meet me in the parking lot and we can talk face to face. And that's when I kind of got taken offline because my pops, who adopted me, he's like, "No, Dan, you don't do.
Yeah, you can't
just
do that.
You can't do that. Like,
Can't do that with fans anyway.
yeah, just
That's
let them say it. Like, you know what I mean? What we used to call them back then is keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
And so that's when I just got offline. But then I still stuck in the conventions, and you know, it's been good nowadays. You know, these are the good days for the prequels. That's what I say.
I would think, yeah.
The days of people coming up to my table and telling me I sucked and my character was the worst and my movie was the worst that there has ever been in
Thank
Star
you for
Wars.
coming.
Well, now those
I wonder if like Daisy Ridley is inheriting all the hate now.
they are. Well, that's what I was about to say. Is that now the prequel fans and the original fans are now hating on the sequels,
Right.
And I'm just looking at it like, guys, this is your kids' generation Star Wars, and it's going to keep it alive for another 20, 30, 40 years. Especially with everything else they're bringing out.
Yeah.
So, although you feel entitled to have your feelings towards this, these are new characters and new avenues that they're going with, that your kids are going to have Kylo Ren, Rey, Finn, all these characters.
For sure.
That weren't in the original. But are now, they're going to be able to associate their childhood to different characters that now they've had in Star Wars. And I say, to the people who do talk down to them, I say, give them 20 years. Like they do with the prequels. It's a 20-year thing.
Give them 20 years.
You know what I mean? Give them 20 years, and you'll finally come around and not cherish them, appreciate them, like they did with the prequels.
That's right. That's true.
Yeah, I know.
Good advice.
John Boyega was getting done dirty. Done dirty. Man, holy cow. People were so mad. They could have had such a good character arc for Finn. Are you kidding me? They threw it away because of the fan base.
And when you meet the guy, he's soul of the earth.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was expecting to meet. You know, because when we grew up with the originals and the prequels, we were family. Mm-hmm. With all these expansions of it, George Lucas kept us all together like a father. Even if we were dysfunctional, which we weren't, he kept us all together, right?
Yeah.
Well, now that Disney's taken over, it's become like a high school. And you have your different cliques. So you'll have the Rebels cliques together because
that's
they're comfortable.
So true.
You have the Clone Wars cliques. You have the prequel cliques. You have the sequel cliques. Where back in the day when we were in the green room together, we sat all together at the same lunch table. You know what I mean? Dave Prowse and Kenny Bacon, all these guys raised me. You know, they'd smack me. They would, you know what I mean? Like they would tell me off. You know what I mean? Like they were my family.
Yeah.
And now I'm pretty much the only one who kind of floats around like I did at school when I was there for the little time I was. And I'd go to all the different cliques, you know, and I'm just like, hey, Jim, how you doing? Over here, hey, you know, John, how you doing? And so I kind of float where now, as sad as it is, we've been separated by like a high school clique up.
Yeah.
You know, and I wish we just all come back together again. The only person that I met recently that made me feel like we still had it was Rosario Dawson.
Oh, yeah.
I went up to meet her.
She's a sweetheart, yeah.
And she just wrapped her arms around me and gave me the biggest hug.
Yeah,
made me feel
me
like
too.
I'd already known her.
Yeah, she was amazing.
You know?
She was we sat next to each other at a convention a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And she couldn't have been cuter, sweeter, and just kind as can be. And
I had never worked with her, and yet I felt like I had.
Yeah.
You know, and she just welcomed me and was like, yes, we're family.
Yeah.
Bring it in. Where I get it from other people, but I see like, now I'm becoming the moderator and liaison between, hey, this person from Star Wars, can you ask that other person from Star Wars? I can get a couple autographs.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, they're part of our family. Just go and ask. Can you go do it for me, Daniel? You know, I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. I'll go and ask.
So somebody's saving money on spending money for an autograph.
Yes.
Right.
Because if you get it, then it's like good. And
yeah, like I'm
I go,
giving,
sure, give me $400. I'll be right
giving
back.
this Star Wars actor's autograph. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you go do it. Like, no. Where back in the day, Dave,
Go on.
Dave Prowse was legit. He would literally come up to me at every convention like, Daniel, sign these autographs. And I'm like, all right, sure, no problem, Dave. And then one day I go, what are these for? And he's like, these are my upgrades on an airplane. And I go, what do you mean? And it was back when the door was open to the cockpit and you'd fly. He'd go, I just walk right up there. As soon as I got on the plane, I'd give the flight attendants a couple of autographs. You know, he had like little stacks of Kenny, Baker, R2, me, you know, Jeremy Bullock. And he would just take them on. He would have an economy class seat. He would go up. He would give them to the flight attendants just to get to the pilots. And he would give the pilots. And they'd be like, well, where are you sitting? He's like, I'm sitting in the back. They would move him to the front.
That's hilarious.
Boy,
That
I'm
is
going to
legit.
try that.
Well, you have to knock on the door nowadays, and if they don't tackle you before you get there, it's a little different. But he would literally walk the autographs, a stack he would get from everybody, and he would go and he would get his upgrades that way.
Wow.
And he said, I never fly in the back. I always pay. They always pay for an economy, but I always
Pay for economy.
get first class.
Wow.
That's funny.
Oh, man. Like Shatner style.
Hey, you know, some guys just have a better hustle than others.
Yeah, they do. Well, yeah, Shatner's got one.
Oh,
And so does your buddy, apparently.
yeah, Dave Prowse.
Dave Prowse.
Bless his soul. He was the original Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, inside the costume.
Yeah, you're right. He was a bodybuilder, and then
Yeah, and he was in 2001, A Space Odyssey. He was in that on camera.
he was in something where he carried somebody down the stairs in a wheelchair.
Clockwork Orange.
Clockwork Orange.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it. Clockwork
Yes.
Orange. Yeah, that was the one.
So he had one eye that was crossed and one eye that was straight. And some fan came up to me at a convention, was like, hey, Dan, do you want to drive my R2 unit around? I'm like, hell yes. So I got the unit, and he was kind of like the older generation where he just sat behind a table and like he didn't really engage, right? And if you want to take a picture of him, you just came and stood next to him, and he was this huge stature of a man, so like you'd be like, and so I wasn't expecting him to engage in the R2 unit very much as he did. And this thing had all different type of gadgets. So
Right.
I rolled it up to his desk. He got up, leant over, and went to touch the R2 unit. But as he did, I wasn't ready for this. I opened this flap on the R2 unit, and it sprays out this like spray mist.
Oh, great.
Just where I shot him in his good eye. And so he turned into Darth Vader real quick.
Christ.
And he went, all right. And you should have seen the look on his face.
Oh, my
And
God.
so he was so pissed. And I hid behind the curtain. I gave the remote back to the guy. And
Yeah.
the guy went up and told him, no, that was Daniel Logan. Because obviously
Oh,
he was
perfect.
trying to track down in the galaxy who this person
Yeah,
was that
in the
just sprayed him in his
galaxy.
eye, right? And so he was pissed. He did not talk to me for like 6 months. And that was like having an uncle mad at you, you know, and like you want to do everything you can. Like, hey, Dave, how are you? And he was stubborn and he was mad for 6
Oh,
months.
man.
I remember
That was
exactly the
comfortable.
time. Well, the way we got back in with each other's, he needed some more upgrades. So he came up wanting more autographs. And I said,
Oh,
so you're going to
God.
talk to me now? I was like, I'm so sorry. You know,
Oh, my
that was
God.
very rude of me to do. I wasn't expecting you to come over the table and
Wow.
and
I got to remember the upgrade trick.
the upgrades, yeah. I don't think we have a problem with that nowadays.
It wouldn't work with, no one would go, yeah, whatever. Just sit your ass back down.
We fly pretty comfortably nowadays.
Yeah, nowadays, I
Yeah.
suppose, huh?
Exactly. We sit pretty close to each other.
Yeah. That's how I know I'm doing well if I sit next by this guy.
That's how I think I'm doing well.
Oh, well,
I'm like,
good.
Hey, I'm in the Jim Cummings seat area.
Respect.
Yes, hey, we're still sitting in the same area
That's
together, so we
right.
must be doing pretty good.
So far, so good. Yeah, you got a lot of crazy stuff coming up.
Well, I've
Did I
got
ask you that? I might have already asked you
No.
that. I probably have.
I got my birthday coming up, so I'm going on a trip with a couple of friends.
Where are you going?
We're going down to Colombia.
Okay, everybody, we'll meet you at Columbia.
Yes, so we're planning on going to the San Andreas Islands and then the San Marco Islands. So they're in the Caribbean.
But not the fault. San Andreas Fault. Is that?
No, I think that's in California.
Yeah, I was
I'm
going
trying
to say.
to get out of California
Yeah,
and enjoy my birthday.
I was going to say.
Yeah, my wife's funny. She's like, Daniel, you travel all over the world. Why do you want to go to Colombia? And I'm like, it's just different. It's cheap. The people still have culture. I actually went a little while back, and I went to this really nice restaurant. They had the grandparents sitting with their kids that were sitting with their kids. And everyone was laughing, enjoying themselves. They were getting up and they were dancing. The grandparents were dancing with the kids. The parents were dancing together. And I was like, this is what we're missing. This is what we're missing. We're missing culture. We're missing family time and happiness. And they were just all happy, enjoying their time together. And I just said, you know what? I kind of like this. So when they were like, what do you want to do for your birthday? I said, let's go back to Colombia, but I want to try the islands this time, and I want to try to go around and see the different islands and enjoy the
islands. Galapagos, is that down there?
That's in Ecuador.
Ecuador?
Yes.
Okay.
I've actually been there. It's beautiful down there too. So that's kind of what's attracted me to
Very cool.
the Caribbean. So I got that. I got a couple of cons coming up to finish out this year, and then I'm just trying to enjoy. I try to do one con, if that, a month. But last month, I got a little carried away. I just did renovations to my house, and so I saw the bank account kind of go down.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll pick up a couple more of these cons. And I said yes to I didn't realize, but I said yes to every weekend in May. 2 of them were in Japan.
Dang.
Oh.
Yeah, so I went to Minneapolis.
Hopefully not. Hopefully they were back-to-back weekends.
No.
Oh, no.
So I went
First week
in Minneapolis.
and second week
Denver, where we did Nostalgia.
Yeah.
So I went to Minneapolis.
You were at NostalgiaCon?
Yes.
That's where we met.
Yes.
That's where
I
we
remember
met.
I had met you. That's why I was like, good to see you again. I got this crazy brain where I remember people. So I went Minneapolis. One day I went home. For one day. I always go home. One day I go home. For one day I went home. I flew out to Japan for Tokyo for celebration. I came back. I was home for 3 days. I went to Denver, Colorado for Nostalgia. I went home for one day. I flew out back out to Osaka Comic Con. And then I come back home and I went somewhere else. I can't remember. So yeah, I was tired.
Wow, yeah, you were tired. That's that's almost every time zone.
I hit him all. I didn't know that my life needed punishment, and I figured, what a better time than to punish myself.
Yeah. Well, at least you did it for the fans.
Yes, exactly.
And a couple of bucks.
And my family, yeah.
And your
you know what I mean?
That's right.
It's great, but my son, he's getting used to daddy leaving, and I don't want him to get used to that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's like, well, you've got to always work, Dad. And I was like, yeah, I know, but, it does help us, to have you in all your sports that we have you in and stuff. And
yeah, that's right.
So I want to thank you guys all for helping me to raise my child. I just want to put it out there.
There
Little
you go.
Caden Logan appreciates every single one of you guys for all his activities he gets to do.
Amen.
I just got my birthday. I'm gonna get through, and then back on the road and back to selling Star Wars toys.
Right on.
Can I get your birthday? You're going to get through, huh?
Yeah, just gotta
Okay.
get through that.
Yet another.
38 years old.
Oh, yeah. But you could pass for 37 and a half.
You know
That's
what?
the way I look at it, right?
It's the worst when you start telling people you're 42 and then they start saying, well, you look like you could have been 41.
Yeah.
I'm like, I really look that bad? Like, come on.
Yeah. I used to look 41. But I was 30 at the time. So. Excuse me. Oh, God, I'm going to sneeze, or am I? No? Okay, good. I'm back. Ha, ha, ha.
As long as you don't sneeze and fart at the same time.
Yeah, okay.
I heard that doesn't work out well for you.
Yeah.
Like,
There's got to be a name for that.
We're going to have to take a break.
There's got to be a name for that.
A shart.
Oh, no, that's...
No, that's just when it comes out with a fart.
Yeah. That's a liquid fart.
Maybe your viewers can come up with
Classy.
a name. Yeah.
Okay, let us know in your
Is there a
comments.
name?
Like
Yes.
and subscribe and suggest a new... No.
Please do, yes. We need to come up with something just in case it happens. Because they say as you get older, you got to...
you get older.
You get older. Yes.
Yeah.
And you take a fart for granted. You know what I mean? As you get older, they say.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, God, we're sitting here doing fart noises. Good night, everybody. It's this is the end of civilization as we know it, and
how
we're
our
ushering in
conversation
the
started.
apocalypse. Yes. Oh my God.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for coming on. That was a great conversation.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
I've known Jim for a very long time, and
long
it's just
time,
my
yeah.
pleasure to be to come and talk
Same
with
here,
you and
same
spend
here,
some time
brother.
with you outside these shows.
Yes, indeed. Amen. Daniel Logan, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We had a lot of fun talking, that's for sure. That was a really good discussion. I enjoyed that. And if you guys liked it, please like and subscribe. You can find much more also on Patreon. There's bonus content. We do these little pre-rolls on Patreon. So like when when you guys are watching this here on YouTube, there's about like 5-10 minutes that we record that you guys don't get to see. But if you're subscribed on Patreon, you get to see. So there's a little nod behind the scenes, and there's a bunch more. There's bonus episodes on Patreon. There's giveaways. There's contests. There's a whole bunch of fun stuff over there. So go and check us out there if you like. If you want some merchandise, Jim Cummings Closet on Shopify has keychains, t-shirts, a whole bunch of other cool stuff, little signed memorabilia, so you can check it out there for some merchandise. And check the link in the description for any upcoming conventions that Jim will be at. You can go see him in person. And with all that said, we really hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.
Hey.